Postmodernism, the intellectual chameleon, claims there's no such thing as objective truth. Bold, isn't it? This idea has taken root in many academic circles and is widely taught on many college campuses today. Postmodernists argue that truth is relative to each person, and that it morphs and shifts, changing its form based on the individual's perspective. However, it's essential to stare this belief in the face and question its foundations. Postmodernism, in its very essence, is self-defeating. By rejecting objective truth, it paradoxically asserts its own view as an objective truth, thus undermining its own argument. But where did this self-defeating notion of postmodernism originate? The answer lies in the theory of Darwinian evolution itself. Nancy Pearcey, in her enlightening piece, How Darwinism Dumbs Us Down, traces the path from Darwin's theory to postmodern pragmatism. She reveals that one of the leading postmodern pragmatists was John Dewey, a Darwinist, who had a greater influence on educational theory in America than anyone else in the 20th century, and who held via his Darwinian worldview that ideas are not judged by a transcendent standard of truth, but by how they work in getting us what we want. Thus, the primary source of the denial of objective truth in postmodernism is none other than Darwin's theory itself. In her 2015 article, Why Evolutionary Theory Cannot Survive Itself, Nancy Pearcey goes further and points out that Darwinism, by its very nature, undermines rational truth altogether. After all, if truth is merely a byproduct of survival, how can we trust our understanding of reality? Consider the words of Baum. Sometimes you are more likely to survive and propagate if you believe a falsehood than if you believe the truth. Or Steven Pinker's assertion, our brains were shaped for fitness, not for truth. Sometimes the truth is adaptive, but sometimes it is not. This raises a significant question. If survival is the only standard, how can we distinguish between ideas that are true and those that are merely adaptive but false? Even Richard Dawkins, a staunch Darwinist, concedes this point, admitting, since we are creatures of natural selection, we cannot totally trust our senses. Evolution only passes on traits that help a species survive, and not concerned with preserving traits that tell a species what is actually true about life. So, if Darwinism denies the existence of objective truth, it ironically invalidates itself from ever being objectively true. In a nutshell, Darwinism, the root of postmodernism, denies objective truth, thereby sabotaging its own validity. To further deepen our understanding, consider the argument from truth, an ancient philosophical argument for the existence of God that comes mainly from Augustine. It asserts that our limited minds can discover eternal truths about being. But since the human mind is not eternal, an eternal mind must exist in which these truths reside. Finally, consider this. While other religions claim to guide you to the truth, only Christianity proclaims to be the source of objective truth. As Terran Williams states in his article, Is Jesus the Only Way to God? Buddha, before dying, said in effect, I am still seeking for the truth. Mohammed said in effect, I point you to the truth. Jesus said, I am the truth. Unlike others, Jesus claimed to be the embodiment of truth, not merely a seeker or pointer. So as we dissect the postmodernist denial of objective truth, we find it not only self-defeating, but also a shaky belief built on a theory that undermines its own validity. Truth, it seems, is not as relative as some might want us to believe.